Thank you. Welcome, friends. That was a very nice Shabad, very nice bhajan, and one of my favorites, and condenses in very short few verses the whole subject of Santmat. It talks about the seekers seeking, how whatever you seek you will get. That's the opening line. Very clearly says, whatever you want, you'll get it. Of course, you have to want sincerely from your soul, not try to play a trick with your mind. If you ask from your soul, you get it, whatever you want. It also talks of the power of a perfect living master who, with his awareness spread out in the 9 worlds, at every level, can give you the grace of putting his hand on your head. He put his hands on your head, and that's a grace that is, you can't even measure the benefit that you get out of that. It goes on further to say that if a perfect living master gives you a hug, can't lie, if he draws if he gives you an embrace, he removes your augan, your weaknesses, your karma is cut at that time as you make such a progress. We are talking of a human being who just happens to be with that kind of awareness and the power that awareness gives him, and how we can benefit from just close friendship with such a person. This is a very nice Shabad and verse from the 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Dev. And he, in many of his poems, many of parts of his verses, talks about the importance of seeking. In fact, at one point he says in another Shabad that the seeker is more important than the master. The seeker is what brings the master here. If there was no seeker, there would be no master. And he says, therefore I place the seeker higher, because he can draw the master here. He also says in another place that Gurmukh, one who follows the Guru, has the Guru in his hands. That the Gurmukh, who has love and devotion steadfastly towards the master, he has the master in his hands. He will get anything that he wants. So much power has been described in a human being who acts like a perfect living master in this world. It's very reassuring to see that so many of us sitting here have had this benefit of finding perfect living masters. I congratulate all of you. And even those who have not found master, the fact that you're sitting here means you are marked souls, and you will find masters. It's guaranteed. You wouldn't be here otherwise. It's not possible. I spoke to you about the use of attention in meditation. I want to emphasize again, it is the placing of your attention behind the eyes that constitutes meditation. You can place your attention wherever you like. Nothing else is under your control. What is around you, you can be aware of it, but you cannot know any part of it unless you put your attention on it. There are 3 terms we use again and again on this path. One is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the ability to be aware, the ability to experience. That's consciousness. It does not mean that consciousness means you're always aware. Even unconscious states are consciousness. It's just the absence of awareness. Even the subconscious state is just a state of consciousness in which you have put some elements of memories down, suppressed them, and you are not aware of them at that time, but they can be pulled up and you can be aware of them. Even superconscious states are still there with us. We can draw them to our awareness. So consciousness is a very generic term describing all levels of awareness, whether you are aware of it at that time or not. It's a potential. It's a potential for awareness. Then what is awareness? It's a small section of consciousness which you are presently, immediately aware. The rest is blocked. And you are presently aware of a certain area. That awareness is a part of consciousness. Then what is attention? Attention is a further part of awareness. It is that special tool we have in our consciousness to move like a probe in whatever we are aware of and put attention on that. If you have, sitting in this room, you look at the wall, your attention has gone to the wall. You're reading a book, you put your attention on the book, the attention goes there, other things become less aware. This ability to make something more aware and less aware by concentration is the secret of meditation. The secret of meditation is that we can use our ability to put attention wherever we like and concentrate our attention at that point so that we become unaware of other things and the attention holds up at that part of awareness. That's the modus operandi, that's the method. Very simple, wonderful method given to all human beings. All human beings have it. All human beings have the power of attention. They can place it wherever they like. We can't shift awareness too much. It's all around us. The senses are perceiving what is aware, what we are aware of, but we can shift our attention wherever we like to what we are aware. The ability to move attention where we like is the secret by which we can move attention to go behind our eyes and sit behind at the third eye center. I often do a little exercise with people who are serious meditators to tell them how they can move their attention anywhere they like, including inside their body. It's called the orange juice experiment. Many of you have done it, I think, before. Is there anybody who has not done the orange juice experiment with me? Okay, there are plenty of candidates, new candidates. So, in a few minutes, we'll do that. It's only a method to determine how to use attention and how to use your attention in this body. So in this experiment, we will imagine that our body is made of glass, hollow glass. There's nothing inside the body. It's only a glass, like a jar, shaped like a body, empty inside. And then imaginatively, we'll fill it up with orange juice. From the toes of the feet right to the top of the head, we'll fill up. All the arms, hands, everything will be filled up with orange juice. Then we will provide in this experiment that the tips of your fingers have valves. And when you press them, the orange juice escapes. Similarly, the tips of your toes have valves. When you press your toes, the orange juice goes out. The experiment consists of moving the level of the orange juice from top to bottom and thereby carrying the attention along with it. So I will give directions when to press the fingers to get the orange juice leaking slowly from the hands and to watch the level fall. And then later on I'll give the directions about the toes. And you will notice how your attention will follow whatever I am saying. So for now, close your eyes. Sit in a comfortable place. Now your body is made of glass. Therefore, you can't move too much because it will crack and break. It's a glass body, hollow inside. And now imaginatively fill it up with orange juice. Make sure that it's filled up right from your feet, all the way right up to the top of your head. Open your eyes and welcome back. How many of you could successfully do this whole exercise? Very good. How many of you liked it? Good. How many of you felt that the orange juice is still sticking in you? And how many of you know where it is sticking? Well, I don't know if the medical doctors will agree, but very often during these exercises I find that the orange juice sticks to that part of the body which has some problem. This is like a self-diagnosis through the orange juice experiment. Why we did this was to show you that you were able to hold your attention at any point in the body that you liked. In a hollow body, you could watch. How many of you could watch the surface of the orange juice? Very good. It shows that you can put your attention wherever you like in the body. I guided you to go from level to level, went to even to the chakras and went to right down to the feet. And you could hold your attention wherever you liked. It is precisely this attention that is needed. What did you use to have this experience with orange juice? Imagination. What will you use to sit behind the eyes? Imagination. If you try to roll your eyes or do something else physically, you won't get it. It has to be imaginary, totally imaginary, that you are sitting to draw attention in. It's not a physical exercise at all. Meditation is nothing physical. You have to use imagination that you are sitting in the center of your head. Let's do that now. Are you ready for it? After this exercise, it should be a little easier to imagine now the body is like a house, no longer glass bottle. Now it's a house of yours. It's many stories. It's got rooms. It's got chambers in it. And the chambers are located all over the body. From the bottom to the top, there are chambers. And the big domed kind of room is right on top behind the eyes. This head of yours and the eyes are the dome. And in this dome, which is the floor of the 6th floor, that's the 6th floor of the dome behind the eyes. You have to imagine you are sitting in the center of that dome, that hall, that room. This is your meditation room. This is where meditation starts. Don't associate meditation with something outside of your body. Don't say, this is my meditation chair, this is my special cushion, this is my special corner in the house. Because when you do that, that's what you think of. You don't think of something inside. Therefore, which is the right place to meditate? In the 6th floor in your head. Make the floor very strong. If you are afraid it will be too flimsy, put some steel into it. A steel base. Concrete. Experience it. Imagine it's very strong concrete. And you can thump on it with your feet. It won't break. So this experiment really will lead you to the 3rd eye center behind the eyes. So long as you can hold the attention imaginatively, you are sitting inside the body in the 6th floor, under the dome, right in the center, and looking around and saying, what's going on? So close your eyes, go on the 6th floor. Open your eyes, welcome back. You can rub your face, your hands. These are very short experiments, I must tell you, because if I had a regular time with you on a meditation workshop itself, I'd make you do at least for an hour, hour and a half, and see you how much you can see just by the simple exercise. Even if you did no repetition, if you did no listening to the sound, they will all come by itself. Big thing is to center yourself at the 3rd eye center. This is so important a point. I advise my friends again and again. And I'm telling you from personal experience, for years I didn't know the importance of this. I thought meditation was just close your eyes and sit and do Simran. wait for the sound, then close the ears and listen to the sound. I had no idea of the importance of starting this from the third eye center. We should seat ourselves there, get disconnected with associations with things outside, confine ourselves to this body which is our house, and sit in the proper place on the 6th floor. Because there's a tendency to sleep in this kind of meditation, we make the floor of the 6th floor strong. You put a chair there, you can put the best chair. Outside chair doesn't matter. It's the inside chair that matters. The best chair you put on is sit on that. And you go again and again back to the same place for meditation. This is your meditation chamber. You go there and put yourself there. Of course, I know that many of you would have felt that although you tried to be there, the thoughts took you out away. Did any of them have you experienced that when you were trying to be there again and again, the thoughts of other things took you out? And this happens. If this didn't happen, we would be quite content with using the method of sitting here as the only system of meditation. But it happens that our thoughts take us away to whatever we are thinking about. Therefore, we substitute the thoughts with other words. Simran's primary duty is to replace the words of thought with words that have no association with things outside. People ask me, why do masters give some funny words for Simran, for repetition? Why are the mantras so funny? Why can't they give me a nice, wonderful Simran like, ye old Shakey's pizza? Would be very easy to keep repeating. The reason they don't give that is because ye old pizza will always take me outside to the pizza. When masters give these words to repeat, they not only choose carefully what words they give, and they have given some well-chosen words for a long time. But the words they give us to repeat have associations with something that is happening inside. So even if you want to associate something with the words, it comes inside. All words that we speak in any language are only meaningful to the extent that they have an association of idea with some event, something outside. That's how language has developed. Language only consists of phonetic symbols, sounds. Sounds which have become meaningful only because we associated those sounds with external things. You say water, water. Every time you say water, water becomes what we drink. A child starts saying water and understands water as something that you drink like that. You say chair, and the chair becomes, the idea of a chair comes up, and then the chair comes up, then one chair comes up, second chair comes up, then different forms of chair come. It remains the same chair. And it's a chair. When you think of chair, you'll go to any chair. You won't go inside. And it won't be a good substitute for thought. There's another thought only. To use language in a meditational mantra or a meditation Simran, which is also has a meaning outside, will draw your attention outside. Therefore, the masters don't give those words. The words they choose have association with events that will happen in your spiritual journey. When you rise in spiritual journey to higher levels of consciousness, you will find the meanings of those words. You'll find that's what they meant. That's what they meant. Because the association of ideas that the masters have with those regions, with those levels of consciousness, is what gives those meanings, gives those words those meanings. On top of that, they do another thing. When they give you these words, they charge them with a special property. And that is, these words become charged with the property to repel negativity. It's necessary, because when we're trying to meditate and do things with consciousness, there could be many disturbing factors. There could be negative entities. There could be disembodied spirits trying to come in the way. There could be other negativity of people coming around us. So therefore, these negative things that happen, negativity around us does not allow us to go in. So when the masters give charged words, and they can charge any words, but when they give you the charged words, especially those which have association of ideas with inner experiences, they make sure that the repetition of these words not only helps you in replacing the words of thought, but repels negativity and doesn't let negativity get into you. That's one of the very useful things in initiation by a perfect living master, that the words he gives you will keep negativity away, outside and inside. No negative entity can interfere with you if the words are there. If you feel some negative power, repeat the words, it will disappear. You can test it out. Inside in the journey, in the spiritual journey, and with different levels of experiences you get through, where you are drawn by negative forces, which are also operating inside and outside, you use the words, they are kept at bay, and they don't affect you. So that's another very useful thing in the words that they give. But the primary function still remains that when thoughts come and drag you out of the third eye center, repetition of these words makes you stay in the center. Now there is a little tip I have to give you. There are many ways of repeating words. The most common way in which people repeat words is like a parrot does. A parrot keeps on repeating without knowing what he's doing, not putting any attention. Many of us just repeat words thinking, just keep on repeating fast, quickly. The faster you repeat, the more Simran you have done. That is not the purpose at all of repetition of words. The repetition of words is that where the mind was putting other thoughts inside you, you are replacing them. You were hearing the words of your thought. Now you have to hear the words of repetition of your Simran. Simran is only good if your attention is on listening to those words. I cannot overemphasize the importance of listening. There are two essential parts of our consciousness. The soul, which is pure consciousness per se, it doesn't need any other help, and the mind, which functions in time-space and gets the power from consciousness. In these two combination, the mind speaks all languages. All spoken words are mind. The soul listens. The soul is a listener and the mind is a speaker. If you remember this, you'll see the importance of listening. We want to use the mind to repeat something so we can listen. The more attentively you listen to the words, the better your concentration of attention at the third eye center. Therefore, I suggest that when you repeat any words of any mantra, you should listen to each syllable. Listen to every part of that word as if it matters. How is it being pronounced? How is it being said? Not just rattle it through as if just a rattling of the words is important. Not at all. Listening to those words is important. So therefore, repeat those words deliberately, listening to them. Enunciate them clearly. Pronounce it clearly so you can hear it. That will hold your attention there. Otherwise, what happens? If you do not listen to the words and you still listen to other things, words will go on and your mind will jump to another level, another channel as it were, and start thinking. It will even start making comments on what you are saying. Oh, am I doing Simran too fast? Am I doing it too slow? Who is that speaking? That's your mind commenting upon the Simran you are trying to do and has moved you away from it by one level. Or somebody else's face will appear, a friend talking to you. And you can hear the words and the friend is talking and you are listening there. You're not attentive to the words. This is a common problem. So many people have shared this with me, that this is a common problem, that the mind starts thinking of something else. Like I quoted Kabir yesterday, who said, Mala to kar mein phire, jeeb phire mukh mai, manwa to chahu desh phire, ye to simran nahi. The beads are moving in your hand, the words are being rattled in your mouth, and the mind is roaming all around. Don't call it Simran. This is not Simran. This is parrot-like repetition. Simran is when the mind is involved in speaking, the soul is involved in listening. And you are concentrated in this activity behind the eyes. What would you do if you find that the mind brings up another voice to talk to you? What has worked very well with me, and I'm giving you this tip, is don't try to fight that, make that also do the Simran. Supposing another person comes up in your imagination, come on, join me, and make that person, the image, do Simran with you. If another channel opens up to the Simran, that channel, you know what will happen? After a while you see there's a chorus of Simran going on in your head. Every being, every channel, every sound is doing the same thing. And your concentration will be very good. It's a practical tip. So you know that the real distraction is that the mind makes you start thinking of other things. And you have to put it back, to use these words, to make Simran effective. If you do effective meditation through Simran, through repetition, and hold your attention there, you will start hearing all kinds of sounds. It always happens. The sounds are coming, in the beginning it looks like they're coming from different sides. Left ear, right ear, center, back. Since we are used to listening to external sound from the ears, we begin to associate them with these ears. Oh, this is the left ear sound, the right ear sound. Oh, we read in the books, this is Kal's sound, this is Dyal's sound. Let's listen to the right ear. Well, I want to clarify about the listening from right ear or left ear, that the sound that we are trying to search does not come from either side. It does not come from the left ear or the right ear. We are used to listening from the ears, therefore we associate ordinary, temporary sounds, ordinary practice sounds that can come from these sides. The real sound comes from the center and above. You will feel where you are sitting, in the center. If you seat yourself well in the center, the sound will come right where you are and above. The real sound of the bell, strong bell with the power to pull and throw you off your feet, as it were, right there, that comes from the center and from the top, because that's where your levels of consciousness are operating. But before that happens, you can listen to other sounds for practice of listening to sounds. That's why I call all other sounds that don't have a pull as practice sounds. They can consist of sound of crickets, chirping of crickets, chirping of birds, small bells tingling, other kind of shrill sounds, a sound of a constant echo. Sounds like when a train comes and stops in a covered platform on a railroad station. That whistle sound and the other sound that remains like an echo, that kind of sound is very common. There are a lot of these sounds, there are about 10 or 12 kinds of sounds that will come just by sitting there. They don't have the pull to draw your attention anywhere, but they are good enough to practice how to listen to the sound and still stay in the center and not be drawn into one side or the other side. These sounds can come from different sides. And the recommendation is that if you have a choice, listen to the sounds from the right side. It looks like right side of the brain, right side of the head is more intuitive and more connected with the intuitive part of it. This is left is converted more, connected more with the reason, mind part of it, mental part of it. Whatever it is, it's just practice. when the real sound comes, even when you have been thinking that the sound is coming from his side, it moves to the center and comes directly from the center and the top and pulls you. When you have reached that sound, that is the royal road to your home. Forget everything else. Forget the Simran, forget everything. Hold on to the sound. If you latch yourself to that sound, there's no way you can go wrong anywhere. That sound which pulls you, throws you off your feet, draws you, it's got such a hum in it, it's got such a vibration in it that you feel that it's really carrying you up. That kind of sound, when that connects, it makes you forget about the concentration and all that because the sound is pulling you up. That's the kind of sound we need to hear. It comes by practice. You have to practice with Simran. But while you're practicing Simran, you also practice listening to the practice sounds. Is good. The recommended period is that you spend almost an hour and a half, if possible, on repetition. And spend half an hour to an hour on listening to the sound. You can adjust it slightly, but when the sound comes, you don't need the Simran. Then you can hold on to that, and once it starts coming, you will hear it all the time. Not that you have to go again. After time, it becomes almost permanent with you. You don't even have to close your eyes. It will pull you up to other dimensions and other experiences. This ability of a sound to pull us up is so miraculous. That's why this particular path that the perfect living masters follow has been called the Surt Shabd Yoga. Surt is attention. Shabd is sound. Yoga is union with your reality. Surt Shabd Yoga is the yoga of the modern times. It leads to the best results in the easiest way. It's designed for Kali Yuga, for this age, Iron Age. And all it needs is a guidance, inner guidance and a pull from a perfect living master. A perfect living master manifests himself in you at initiation. You can see him and talk to him. In the beginning, it appears he comes and goes. Sometimes he comes, sometimes he goes. Sometimes you see him, sometimes you are blank, and then you feel bad that he's not come today to see me, and I haven't been able to see him. Sometimes he comes more. This variation is for some period. With practice, he'll be always there. And not at a distance, but very close. When that happens, he's a permanent friend of yours. You can talk to him, ask questions, he'll give you answers. With one little caveat to this, and that is, when you see the master inside, use the words he has given to prevent negativity, so that it may not be a negative impostor coming and pretending to be your master. If it is an impostor, or if it is something made up by your mind, imaginatively, and you repeat the words given by your master at initiation, it disappears immediately. Not only that, since we see the face of a master, more importantly than the rest of the body, we see sometimes the whole body, sometimes the face only appears. Since the face of the master appears in meditation, the most important part is the eyes and the forehead. With some good arrangement, no negative power can ever make up the eyes and the forehead of a perfect living master. You can't even imagine it. If you try to imagine, it will disappear. With the words, it will disappear. If even the rest of the face stays, this portion will disappear. Which means it was not the master, it was just a negative entity or your own mind making up that stuff. You can dismiss it. These are good tips given to us on the spiritual journey. So we avoid some of these pitfalls. Otherwise, we could be just led into believing this is a master, we don't check it out, And we are led into areas where we don't want to go. Even inside there are a lot of pitfalls. So I am sharing this. The value of the words a master gives as a mantra, as a Simran to us is immense. It has to be used outside in daily life. It has to be used inside. If you practice this meditation technique of doing the Simran all the time, whenever it's free, whenever you get the time, whenever you have attention available for that, then it becomes automatically that you keep on doing Simran. Simran can be done at one level, and all other activities can still be done with practice. You can have your professional work done, you can have the worldly work done, you can do work with labor, work with mind, and Simran can still go on with practice. Takes little time, but you can do it. Then, nothing to worry about any negativity at all. Negative powers cannot come anywhere near you. And your meditation inside is easy and more successful. This meditation technique of being pulled by this sound is the one recommended by great master and all perfect living masters that I know of. All other methods that I know of, and I have experimented myself with them, lead to different levels of experience but do not take you back home. What takes you back home is the sound current, which is the creator of all levels. It's a creative power, it's a manifestation of consciousness itself. When we talk of consciousness, it means something that can be conscious of. Supposing there's nothing to be conscious of, consciousness doesn't disappear, it becomes conscious of itself. What is the manifestation of consciousness per se by itself? Sound. Sound current. It's consciousness that we're talking of. As you go higher up, you will discover how this consciousness, which is manifesting as sound, is creating everything around you. You can even see that. They are some of the most wonderful experiences in understanding creation, in understanding how different levels have been created, comes during this journey to your true home. So I am sure many of you will have this experience. If you don't, ask questions. Find out where you are stuck, and you move forward. There's some people who want to ask a few questions, so I'll pause for a little while, and then we'll go on with another session for meditation.
Have an internal dialogue.
That's normal. Normal. If you hear the sound, you can drop the Simran. If the sound becomes weak and not clear, go back to Simran. And ultimately it becomes automatic. Automatically your meditation will take you to Simran or sound, whatever is needed. But don't try both unless the Simran is automatic already. Which means if you have habituated yourself, it goes on to one level, you can operate with the sound, that's different. But attempting to do something, do one. Simran, if sound comes strong enough, switch to the sound. If it becomes weak, go back to Simran. When sound comes again, switch back. When the sound comes, put more attention on it. Ride with it. The sound current, when it comes, try to ride on it. Go with it. Go upwards with it. You have the potential to move inside. Move upwards with the sound, and it takes you up. When you are doing Simran, with your attention, look upwards rather than sideways. And it pulls you and maintains your attention right on the sound. Like that. So, because the sound will pull you upwards, the feeling will be it's pulling you upwards, lifting you up. And if you're ready to be lifted up and you feel you're ready to jump up with the sound, it'll take you up. And your concentration on the sound will be stronger and you less need to go back to Simran. Okay? Yes? Well, you do lose yourself and you do rise and feel that you are losing your body You're losing yourself and rising up, but that's part of the game. It's supposed to be like that you rise up and fly in another sky. Another sky will open up, another universe opens up when you go there. And as the attention is pulled off from the body, sound can pull it off very quickly, sometimes too quickly. People get frightened because they are used to it. So the sound pulls quickly and they feel they're going to die. The fear comes up, I'm going to die, I'm leaving my body. But if you do it gradually, Great Master's recommendation was, do it gradually, stage by stage. Don't do it in a hurry. Don't be impatient. Have patience. And with patience, go step by step, little at a time. Every day, little at a time. Make little progress and get used to that. Then move up. And then you don't have that fear. Yes. Put more attention. Put more attention and latch on. You have to latch on to the sound. It's an art. It is a new art that you have to discover, how to latch on to the sound. And because you will find with Duke's little more experience, it's not sound as such. It's a power.
Even with just the Simran, I'm following through.
Now, I must explain that the Simran is also sound, because we are listening to it. As I said earlier, the Simran is also being used as sound. We repeat with the mind and listen, and it's also listening to the sound. That's where it leads to other sounds. The Simran is also sound. Okay? Yes. Here? जिस वेले आवाज़ पहला आवाज़ आवे तो फिक्र ना करो सज्जे खब्बे है जे दोनों पासे आवे फिर सज्जा पासा देखो जे दोनों पासे आवे फिर सज्जा देखो जे इक्को पासे आंदी तो जरूर सुनो प्रैक्टिस हैगी है सच्ची आवाज़ वो नहीं जिहड़ी खिंच के ले जाती है ये तो सिर्फ प्रैक्टिस वास्ते है इस करके चाहे सज्जे है खब्बे है प्रैक्टिस करो जिहड़ी असली आवाज़ है वो सेंटर तो बाद विच आएगी. Then I have an alternative suggestion. Do more seva, service of people, service of masters. Do more seva. Concentrate on the value of seva, value of doing things, and also do little bit of meditation as an offering, as a seva, not forgetting anything. If you do meditation, this is my little time spent, this is my offering to you. The importance of seva. Seva means service. It cannot be overemphasized that seva is very important part of the spiritual path. Seva is of many kinds. You can do seva with money, with wealth. You can do seva with your body, and you can do seva with your mind. Seva with money is very easy. You write a check and give it. You give a few dollars and say, I've done my seva. It has value, but the least value. Seva with body has more value. You are helping people do physically work for them, running around doing things for master or the master's disciples. That's very useful. The best seva is seva with the mind, which means meditation not to get anything but as an offering to the master. In that case, you don't worry where you put attention or not. Your thought is, this is my offering to the master. All these three sevas in combination also prepare you for higher experiences, and the grace of the master flows through you. I talked yesterday about the importance of the grace of the master. A good time for me to bring up the subject now, because if the grace of the master is not there, nothing can help you. I want to be honest. And I'm making it appear like there's a certain technology and techniques and methodology of meditation that gives you everything. If the grace of the Master is missing, nothing will happen. Grace of the Master is very important because he's pulling you. He has to pull you. He has to take you back. Therefore, if there is any good prayer I can think of to ask from the Master, it is, Master, want your grace. And when you get grace of the Master, he makes it easy to meditate. He makes it easy to go about your business and remember him. You won't remember him otherwise. We forget all the method that we have been learning if the grace of the Master is not there. So Master says, put in your effort. And we put in an effort and nothing happens. Then we realize that's just a test. That effort is not going to, our effort is not going to make any difference. The pathway is such that a human effort, at best, is a very puny little part of the effort required to go up. The rest of it is all Master. Then why does he make us, say, do meditation for so many hours, do it in this particular way? Why does he put us on the path of effort? Because of our mind, trained to believe that nothing comes without effort. Nothing comes unless we struggle for it. He says, okay, struggle. How long should we struggle? Till you fail. And find out there's something beyond struggle. And yet you cannot even struggle without the grace of the Master. The most beautiful experience I can tell you is when you find that the effort you put in was not possible without the grace of the Master. And therefore grace and effort are the same thing. Eventually you find that out. That there was no difference. That the reason why we could try to make an effort was because of grace. At the end it turns up that everything was grace. But he put us through a course in which we had to first put in effort, and more effort, do more meditation. And then at the end we find that it was something else that really made us put the effort and made us take home, made us go back home. I told the story the other day of Diwan Daryai Lal. He was a judge in Kapurthala state, and he was also finance minister there, finance secretary there. He did a lot of big jobs. And when he retired, he was a disciple of Great Master. He came to do some seva. And he said, Great Master, give me seva. Master said, you are highly educated. You have held very high positions in the government. You can take any position of secretary, controller, whatever you want. All jobs are open to you. He said, no, Master, if you permit me, I only want the job of a doorman. I want to be your doorman. I want to stand outside your door. Master said, fine. And he remained a doorman for Great Master all his life. All Masters, Great Master's life. He was a doorman outside. He was so happy at that seva. He would see Great Master come in and out, had his darshan all the time. And any interviewers, he would escort them in. He enjoyed the seva. He totally forgot what he was in the government and on the jobs he was holding. He enjoyed this job so much, so happy. Then one day, it occurred to him, I am having this great joy by doing this seva. What about meditation? I missed out on the meditation. So he went to Great Master and he said, Master, this summer, I understand you are not going to that vacation house you have in the mountains in Dalhousie, a hill station in India, that this year you are not going there. Can I borrow the keys of your room there and do meditation in your house, in your room? That will have all the vibrations of the Master and I'll do great meditation. Great Master took out the keys. Here are the keys, go to Dalhousie. He says, Master, for 3 months, I will do nothing but meditation and catch up with all the lost time. I missed out on that. Though I enjoyed my seva a lot, but I missed out on the meditation. He reached there with great anticipation and great hope. And when he went inside the room, opened the Master's house in the room, a man knocked on the door. Oh, I'm glad you are here. We were waiting for somebody to come. We have to do the plumbing work in the house. And the plumber is in. Next day somebody else is in. All the time there was somebody else. Oh, we are very happy you have come here. We had some work to do here. 3 months he could not do any meditation. He felt so bad that he had gone specially for catching up on meditation and he couldn't meditate. He went back to the Dera, returned the keys to Great Master, said, Master, I failed. I went to do meditation with all my earnest intention. I couldn't do any meditation. There was more disturbance there than here. There was more distraction there than here. Sorry, I failed. Great Master laughed and said, no, Drailar, you passed. You passed the test. You passed the test that this is not a path where one can say, I can do it by myself. I have just to do meditation and I can do it. It doesn't work like that. You passed because you realized it. The mind does not realize anything unless it experiences it. The mind still thinks, if we struggle more, if we do more, we get more. We're trained like that. The mind is trained like that. The truth is, on this path, the mind is very small power. It's the Master's grace and Master's power that pulls us up. And he makes it available like this so that at any stage of our spiritual development, it matches what we believe is good for us. He's doing it to satisfy our mind, because we would otherwise keep this reservation in mind. Oh, I didn't struggle enough. Okay, struggle. And then say, I throw up my hands. Master, now I want all your grace. Even the attempt to do something is his grace. At the end, you see very clearly that the whole process of going up was his grace, Master's grace. Therefore, I say, let's recognize that without Master's grace, we can't even make effort. Without effort, we don't get the grace. So it's such a combination of these two things that if we feel that we can make an effort, make it the best you can. And if you feel it is not working, pray for grace. And Master will pull you out. So it's a good combination of the two things. So I'm sure many of you have had this experience that pure effort does not work. It's not a mechanical thing. I think in Sacramento, I told the story of a friend of mine, true story of a colleague of mine, an initiate of Great Master. The name is Hira Singh. He is passed on now, but I can tell his story today. That he was a disciple of Great Master and a very, very good student, loyal student of this path, a regular 2.5 hours meditation, complete abstinence from alcohol and drugs and meat and eggs, nothing of the sort he would take. Very nice moral, strict moral life, followed all the rules laid down. And many masters were visited, including Great Master, visited his house in Ludhiana. They visited his house. He had a foundry there. After my Great Master passed away, other masters came from different gadis and they all visited him. He was very popular because he was a very good satsangi of Great Master. One day, I and a friend of mine from America, an American friend of mine, we both went and we were touring around to see all the places which were my memories of the Dera and other places. And we found that in Ludhiana, where I went to college, same college where Prem Pal went, I told him that there is a very nice disciple of Great Master, we should visit him. As it happened, there was another master from Tarantaran who was giving a discourse in his house that day. So we went there. The master stopped the discourse. He called us in and we said, Master, you finish your satsang, then we'll come. He announced, satsang over. And he took us in, which was very impressive for my American friend, that we have so much influence that satsangs can be finished. Anyway, we had some disciples of his. They asked some questions. I was well known in those days for having studied a lot and I answered questions. So people asked some questions, I was giving answers. This Hira Singh told me, he said, can I ask you a question? I said, what is it, Hira Singh? He said, you and I are both disciples of the same master. We both got Naam from the same master. I have followed these instructions very rigidly. I don't know how much you have done. But apparently, you got more than I've got. You seem to have the answers to questions, and apparently you must have made some progress. I didn't. How come? What is the discrimination due to? That I am also a follower, strictly following the instructions. I have done regular meditation 2.5 hours every day for 40 years. And there's nothing has happened. I keep on doing every day, waiting for something to happen. Tell me, why didn't I get the benefit? I said, do you know, on this path, if we have any question, we address it to our master. You should have addressed this question to your master. You should have asked great master in his lifetime, Master, why am I not making progress when I'm following your instructions? He said, I did. He said, I did go to the great master. I said, what did he say? Great master said, do your meditation with love and devotion. I said, then what happened? Great master passed away. I went to other masters. Why am I not making progress? They laughed and smiled and said, do your meditation with love and devotion. I said, now, why are you asking me this question? He says, because I see you are answering other people's questions. I said, I never answer questions myself. If I have to answer a question, I have to go to my master. I have to check out with my master before I give a wrong answer. How will I know? So I always check with my master what answer I'm going to give. So I'm sorry, I have to check with my master. Your question, why you didn't make any progress in spite of following all the instructions? He said, go and find it from your master and tell me. I said, not so easy, it takes time. He said, how much time will it take for you to go to your master and find out? I said, about 6 months. It takes 6 months to contact your master. I said, for difficult questions, it can take time, you know. I said, you wait, I'll get you an answer. I had to return to United States. And I went back to India on my next visit, and I visited him. And I said, I got the answer from Great Master to your question. And the answer is, you did meditation for 2.5 hours. But the Great Master told you, and other masters told you, do your meditation with love and devotion. Where was the love and devotion gone? You did a mechanical meditation. You thought it's your effort at sitting together and doing meditation that's going to get you anywhere. It doesn't. You should do with love and devotion. He said, how can one get love and devotion? I said, like you would fall in love with a person here. How do you fall in love with here? How do you remember a person whom you love? You think of that person. You remember the face. You remember events with that person. Remember when you met the master. Remember what he said. And remember all the things he gave you. Remember when he patted you on your back. Remember when he gave you prasad. There's so many events you can remember in meditation. While you are doing the meditation, those memories will evoke the love and devotion that is needed for this path. Try it, at least 6 months, try. I'll come and check up again. So I came back, 6 months later, I went back to him. He made more progress in 6 months than he made in 40 years. With a little switch that meditation should be done with love and devotion. It's the love and devotion that pulls us. Imagine there's such a generous master sitting there, open-hearted, willing to give. And if we express even a little bit of love and devotion, won't he give us anything? He's a giver. He's just waiting for us to address him with that same feeling that we want from him. So therefore, he fills our basket when we are meditating with love and devotion. I am mentioning this story because it's a very stark case of reality of many others also. It's not Hira Singh alone. There are many people who've been sitting with meditation or the mechanical exercise for years and got nothing. put some love and devotion into it, they start getting something. It's a very important factor in meditation. So that's why, remember, it's not a mechanical exercise. If you want to really get benefit, when you go into your chamber behind the eyes, not only repeat words, not only listen to the sound, see the face of your master, see the face of your beloved, talk, converse, cry, complain, do anything you would do with the person you love. Do that with the master inside. He will respond. All the time, while talking to the master, repeating the words to prevent an imposter coming in. That's the only requirement. Keep on repeating words, and then on top of it, converse. It needs a little practice to be able to do both, but doesn't take very long. So that is why you'll be able to get much more success and much more rapidly if you follow this little tip. Shall we try it now? Let's try now. A little meditation with love and devotion. Not mechanically. Let's go back to our meditation chamber on the head, in the 6th floor of our body, and settle ourselves well behind the eyes. Sit comfortably on our meditation chair, or meditation rug, or whatever we use, a special pillow, all inside. Let's go right behind the eyes, in the center. We have practiced going there, put our attention there, that we are there. We are there. We are not looking at ourselves, we are just there. The importance is of being there, not looking at ourselves or looking at anything. Whatever comes in front, you can see. Bring the master in front by imagination and check it out that he is the master. If the eyes and the forehead of the master can be seen while you repeat the words, it is the master. I can tell you that. And then have a conversation. Whatever you want to share. He is a true friend. Perhaps the only true friend that I can find in the world. A master. Talk to him. Repeat the words. Sound come, listen to the sound in the company of the master. You will find if you want the master to repeat the words for you, he will do it inside. You don't even have to do that. Watch the master repeating the words and you listen. Love and devotion. Tell the master how you feel. Very good question. A number of people have asked me questions after they hear Baba Fakir Chand's talk, his satsang, and his writings. I don't know how many of you have read about Baba Fakir Chand. He was a saint, a mystic, a master in Ishwar Puri in Punjab, and he was our neighbor. My father was teaching in a college there, and we had occasion to meet him many times. He was a great man, Baba Fakir Chand. But Baba Fakir Chand created a huge controversy by saying that masters don't know anything of what's going on. It's the disciple with his own mind that he projects everything. That even a master that he sees inside is seen by the disciple, not because the master is going to project himself inside. And he gave an example of his own life, Baba Fakir Chand, that he was in the army during the Second World War, and 3 of his disciples were also in the army. They were in the forward combat region, and he was in the rear, in the postal region behind. And he says he was very afraid of being killed in the war. These 2 disciples who were in front were ambushed by the enemy from all sides. And they knew they were going to be killed. Every side there was and they prayed to their master, Baba Fakir Chand. Babaji, come and help us, we are going to die. If we have to die, take us home from here. We don't mind. And his form appeared, almost like a physical appearance of Baba Fakir Chand in front of all three of them. And they were able to see him. And he said, don't worry, you will not die. You go behind these bushes, and there's a tunnel there, unknown to these people, and you remove a bush and you go inside the tunnel, you'll come out from behind the ambush, you'll be saved. They went behind and there was a bush, and they removed and there was a tunnel. Whatever the master said happened. They escaped through the tunnel and came back. When they came out, they ran to Baba Fakir Chand to thank him for saving their life. When they met him, they said, Babaji, thank you very much for saving our life. He said, what life? I didn't save any life. He said, but you came. We saw you. You told us. And gave us the route how to get out. He said, I know nothing about it. You must have made it up yourself. He says, Babaji, how could we make up ourselves? It was you. We prayed to you. You appeared and you saved us. He says, I know nothing about this. I myself was very afraid, sitting myself in my cabin, very frightened that the enemy might kill me. How could I be saving you? And he not only said this to those people, and they said, no, don't play tricks with us. We know you saved us. He told this story in his satsangs to people. And I heard that satsang, in which he told this whole story that I'm sharing with you. So we had to ask him, my father and I, in one of the conversations, because he was a great saint, we said, why do you say that masters don't project that it's your own mind that is doing it? He said, don't say it's your own mind that does it. What I say is that the master who really saves you is inside you. Why I say that is because people have a tendency to follow a human being outside without doing meditation to go inside. So I was laying emphasis on the fact that people should go inside and find the radiant form of the master instead of running after a man who will die. And the radiant form never dies. His emphasis was on that. Second explanation he gave was that I am looking at it from the point of an ordinary seeker. An ordinary seeker does not think that the master is inside, and therefore he runs outside. It is to emphasize the importance of going inside that I say these things. He clarified it. So after that clarification, we were sure that this was meant for those people to do more meditation and go within and find it. Of course, people quoted him widely. And they said, oh, here was a master who knew nothing. And yet he was a good master. He helped so many people. How could he help them? Because they had all the things inside them. The master was inside. Which is actually true. The master is inside. There's nothing wrong with that. The real master is inside us. The master who is to take us back home is not the physical being outside. The physical being outside puts us in touch with the real being inside. Why do we need to see a physical being outside if the real master is inside? Because when we close our eyes, we don't see anything but darkness. He helps us to go inside and see the real form. And the form resembles the form of the master outside. So this point has been clarified to our satisfaction that this was the intention of Baba Fakir Chand, to make people meditate and go inside. A lot of them were beginning to run outside only and just worship a man, worship his sandals, worship his clothes, worship his house, and call it Sachkhand. And people began to do that. It happened at other locations too. I have visited other locations where people are worshipping building and things and thinking that's the whole thing. And nobody going inside. That's a problem, that people find it very easy to run outside and worship instead of going within themselves and finding the truth. He was just emphasizing that point, that go inside, the real master is inside. And who makes it up? Does the master project himself in us? Or do we make up the master? How does it matter? Ultimately, you find the master and you are one. At the end of the journey, there's no difference in the two. So, at this level, you can as well say that you make up the master or the master projects himself. At the end, you find that if this whole world is illusion, don't forget the master has to be illusion also. It can't be that the whole world is created by the process of illusion and one piece of it is not illusion. The whole thing is the same. So the reality is inside. And outside is a help to us because we cannot go inside. We don't know how to go inside. And rather than say the master projects himself inside, I would say the master, real master inside, projects himself outside as the form of the perfect living master. That's the projection, not the other way around. So higher you go, the more you see the truth of this thing. Everything that we have. Vivekananda came, a Swami from India. He touched upon this point in Chicago. More than 120 years ago, 150 years ago, he came. And he said, for 3 days he talked in the World Congress of Religions. And on the third day, he's telling people, I have been telling you that this world is mithya, maya, illusion, not real. If I am saying this, everything you see is unreal, is illusion, then I must also be illusion. How come, if the whole world is illusion and I am also illusion, and I am telling you to go within and do these things? He says, I am also illusion for you, but with a difference. The rest of the illusion is holding you back here and trapping you. This illusion pushes you back into reality and makes you realize it's an illusion. He clarified it himself, the same point he made. Therefore, it's just a way of saying, way of describing things. You can describe in many different ways, whether this whole thing is a projection from our own consciousness or the master is real, sitting outside, projecting himself inside. There's really no difference. There's just two ways of looking at it. So I know that there's an autobiography, no, not a biography of Baba Fakir Chand. The title of the book is The Unknowing Sage. They call him the Unknowing Sage because he claimed he didn't know. So that's just a way of his teaching. But he was a great mystic and great saint. I had a chance to meet him many times. The Guru has full conception of the disciple, more than the disciple has of himself. The Guru can see through a disciple and see much more than what the disciple looks like. He can see all his past lives. He can see the state of the soul. He can see the state of the mind. He can see all the karma. Guru can see everything. In meditation, he said when you get initiated, there are 3 parts of meditation. 1, Simran, to repeat, to muffle down the voice of the mind, to prevent other thoughts. 2, to hear the Shabad. And 3, Dhyan. Why don't forget Dhyan. Dhyan is contemplation of the face of the Guru. Dhyan overlaps both these. You can do Dhyan while you're doing Simran. You can do Dhyan while you're listening to sound. The suggestions I made that you imagine the Guru and talk to him while you are doing either kind of meditation is the third process of Dhyan, which is in a way more important than merely mechanically doing Simran or trying to listen to the sound. So Dhyan is where you contemplate the face of the Guru and you bring it in front of you. It has to be done to start with your own imagination. How else do you bring the Guru? With your own imagination. And using the words prevents your imaginary Guru to stay there. And then the real Guru appears and you can do your Simran, he's still there. And that is not made up by your mind. That's the Guru himself present you in his astral form, the radiant form. And that's where you can talk to the Guru, converse with him, and get his answers. If he gives the answer, he may give an answer in an indirect way also. Don't think that the Guru will use his mind to answer our mind. He can use many other means. For example, you put a question to the Guru and he gives an answer on a coincidence next morning. You put a question to the Guru and you say you haven't got an answer, you're driving and there's a signboard giving the answer to what you asked. You open randomly a book and the very first line is giving an answer to the question you asked. Guru can give answers in so many ways. These coincidences that happen, they are answers from the Guru. These circumstances speak to us every day, giving answers to our questions. So Guru does these things in many ways. And he does these things according to the amount of faith that we have developed, according to the level of our faith. The more we realize who a guru is. It takes time sometimes, because the mind is full of doubts. It takes time to see who is a guru, who is a perfect living master. And once you have established this to your satisfaction, and it takes time, then he gives direct answers. Till then, he gives you answers in different ways. It's a very good process. I think he does a good job. I have a feeling whatever way he follows is very interesting, very entertaining, and very powerful. So the Guru's conversation with us in physical form or internally is a very powerful experience, always. And the more we have this experience, the more we realize who a guru is. It's not easy to understand what a guru is. It is not easy to imagine even what a guru is. He is beyond our imagination. He is not working from the level where we work or where we see him. He is not working with the mind and with the senses like we are working. He is working from a level which is beyond these. He's not working from here, he's working from here, there, and such kind. Not one at a time, all at once. Anybody can reach that state. If you go to your true home, Sachkhand, after that you can retain the experience of every stage, even physical stage. But till you reach that, there's only one reality and one level available to us. As we go up, we can have a physical world. We withdraw attention from physical world and shut it out. An astral world opens up. That becomes our only reality. We shut off the astral world and open up the causal world. Astral disappears. Physical disappears. And causal is the only reality. We go beyond the mind and looks like that spiritual region of Parbrahm is the only reality. At one time, the only reality. It's only when we reach the top, where the totality of consciousness, there's oneness, exists, and we merge and become that, we hold ourselves into all levels after that, even the physical body that we had here. So and it's not specific to the gurus only. A gurumukh, a follower of a guru who has reached that state, has the same ability. And therefore, a gurumukh can also have the same experience of being at all levels at once. It's very difficult to give an example how you can be at totally different levels, which I compare with sleep and wakefulness, and yet you can have both. It's like if you have a daydream, you are imagining something, and you see you are doing something else. It's called daydreaming. The daydreaming looks unreal, and this looks real. If you make the daydreaming equally real as this, what would you call it? That's not daydreaming anymore. Then you have made two realities come into place at the same time. Then the dream and the wakeful state have both become alive, and you are in both states. You can't do it, but you can do it if you go to Sachkhand and come back. You can make all realities appear and work in them at the same time. Masters have to do that because their role is not confined to the marked sheep, the marked souls of this physical world. They are operating at other levels for other marked sheep, who they have taken responsibility and who are tarrying at different stages. They are just enjoying themselves because they want more time to have a good time there. You can have a lot more good time there than even here. Here there's very limited scope. So there are so many souls of great masters who are at different levels. Masters working with them right when he's sitting as a human being here. So masters work at all the levels at the same time. That is why they keep their awareness at all levels. There is one question which some people ask me, and I used to hesitate to give an answer, but now I've given an answer, so I might repeat it here. How can a master who is in a single human body in a physical body, be available to everybody, all his disciples. If he has 10,000 disciples and he is one master, and people have to see that master inside, whether they make it up or he projects himself, can he really project himself to 10,000 people? Or does he allow them to just make up their own masters? Or does he allow them to see the real masters inside? And if he makes them see their real master inside, what is the connection with the physical master? Does he know anything that's going on in all those 10,000 people and all the connection they have with the masters? How does he really, as a physical human being, operate? So the answer is that he operates by creating clones of himself. Now this it's a good word to describe what he does. He has a clone of himself in every person he initiates. The person sees exactly what the master is. The master is constantly in touch with the clone. So 10,000 people are initiated by a master, there are 10,000 clones. Each one is connected to the physical being whom we call the perfect living master. Does the master have to keep a watch on everyone? The clones are doing it for the master. But he is in touch. Somebody speaks to the master inside. It's the clone that reports back to the physical form master. He gives a reply. He is in touch and he has a much wider ability to correspond with a lot of people at the same time. But this system has been working so well that there has been no problem, that the masters can establish themselves in any number of people through this. It's just a modern word I'm picking up, clone. It's something like that they can manifest themselves and be in touch with them. But they need not be in touch in a physical way, because in a physical way, they try to behave like other physical people. Baba Fakir Chand did that. Babaji, you came to us and saved us. I don't know what you are talking about. Master, this morning you came and told me. Oh, did I? You can hear these words. Why? Why do they do that? Because they want to be as human, as close to our own reality here as we are. Supposing they don't come to our level, they don't become like us human beings, what will happen? We can never be friends with them. That's a problem. Who do we become friends with? Friends are those who are like us. They come and become like us. They are Berupias. They are disguised people. They put on the disguise of the people whom they are working with, and therefore they talk in the normal way. They talk, and when your faith grows and you have inner master, then they talk openly. Even the same human being, he begins to tell you things that you know that he knows everything. Otherwise they will say, what do we know? It's not that they are playing any game with us. It's just that the love and friendship that develops between us is almost always, if there's something equal to us, like us. Not equal to us, but like us. And therefore, masters have always come and done things just like us. They followed ordinary vocations. They have been farmers. They have been weavers. They have been cobblers. And they could have left that job and been something else immediately. They never did that. Ravidas was a cobbler. He was mending shoes all his life. His disciples were kings. King Pipa was one of his disciples in the palace. And he told him many times, Maharaj, why don't you come and move to my palace and you can do your work from there? He says, no, I'll stay in my hut and repair shoes here. That's my role as a human being. Internally, he can help. He was a very powerful master. I've read a story about him. You might have read also that one day King Pipa himself wanted to get special blessings of this master. So he didn't want people to know, being conscious of his status as a king. He sneaked out early morning at 3 o'clock and went to the cobbler master, who was mending shoes even at that time. He said, I have come to make a prayer. He said, Your Majesty, you come to me? What can I do for you? He said, I want something real from you. I want enlightenment. He said, enlightenment, I can give you. And he took his hand in a bowl where the leather was being dipped. It was all dirty with the leather smell and color. And he took a dip like this, said, here is Charnamat, here's some nectar for you. Drink it. And the king was taken aback. And when he poured him, the king did like this, but he wouldn't drink it, the dirty water. So allowed the water to go down his sleeve and ran from there. He said, I couldn't imagine I'll get this kind of treatment when I went for enlightenment. He's given me some dirty water from that little pot where he was using the leather. And then he went and woke up his attendant and said, take this shirt off because it's got a stain on it. That leather stain came on. Take it to the washerman. There was a washerman on the premises of the palace. Take this shirt there, get it washed immediately. It should be cleaned and brought to me in the morning. It should be done right now. I don't want anybody to see what happened. The shirt was sent and the washerman was woken up. He said, the king wants this shirt to be cleaned immediately. And the washerman said, okay. He saw there was a big stain. So he told his young daughter, can you remove the stain somehow? So the daughter said, yeah, I'll remove the stain. And she began to chew on it. As she began to chew on it, she began to talk of inner regions. The more she chewed, the more she became aware of something going on. And everybody got surprised. Next morning, she was giving discourses to people of the inner regions and how you can go up. Little girl, people all flocked to that washerman's house. His girl has got enlightened, girl has got enlightenment. The king heard that our own washerman's girl has got enlightened. He went there to see her also for getting enlightenment. When he went there, the girl got up to salute him. And he said, no, don't get up. I have not come to you as a king, I have come to you as a seeker. You are enlightened. I have come to get enlightenment from you. And the girl answered, I am not saluting you because you are the king. I am saluting you because all I got was from you, from your shirt. And then he was surprised. He said, what happened? And the whole story came out. That was a very special moment for that Ravidas to give that to the king. He went back to Ravidas. Please give me some more of that dirty water. He said, no, these are rare moments when the compassion overflows. In the human being, we call it perfect living master. And that compassion, seeing that the king had come personally, was a moment. Now you've checked out all this stuff. You go on and found out what the girl has got. Now do 20 years of meditation. You can get something similar. See, this is unique things. But this, of course, it's a big game. But the whole thing is a big game. The whole universe is a big game. It's a faith. If you go with faith, you get more. I heard another interesting story from India. There is a nice beach there in Bombay. And on the beach, the people sitting making sand homes. You know, they make sand castles with the sand. And he saw people see that they're sand homes. Two young boys went to have ice cream. There's ice cream vendors also there on the beach. They went to ice cream, so one of the boys had money, five rupees. The other boy didn't have anything. So this man said, I'll treat you to ice cream today. So both the friends went to buy ice cream. On the way, they stopped and saw a man making beautiful sand castles and sand homes. So this boy who had the money said, I like to buy one of these. It's so beautiful. And the other man said, you have to buy sand? It's not worth it. Let's go and have ice cream. But this man said, holy man, you are making these beautiful buildings with sand. Can you sell one of them? He said, I can, but do you have the price to pay for it? He said, how much is the price? He said, 5 rupees. He said, I'll take it. He got a plywood and paid 5 rupees and took that sand home and went home. The other boy criticized him. We came for ice cream, you wasted your money, And he was very mad at him. Anyway, they went home, they slept. The boy, who was very angry and not getting ice cream, had a dream at night. In the dream, he saw he was flying in the sky. And he saw the houses hanging up in the air, all lit up. He said, this must be heaven, because all the houses are lighted up and they are hanging up in the air. And he was flying, and he saw a house exactly like the one his friend had bought for 5 rupees. And he went close to that, and he saw his friend's name written outside. He said, oh my God, I didn't realize my friend for 5 rupees has bought a house in heaven. What a mistake I made. And he woke up, and he ran to his friend's house, and he said, you know, you bought that house for 5 rupees. I want to buy it from you for 10 rupees. He said, no, why would I sell it to you? You want to buy, you go to the same man. So he ran to the beach, and the man was making more sand castles. He said, can I buy that house? He said, have you bought the price for it? He said, yes, here's 5 rupees. He said, the price is not 5 rupees, price is 5,000 rupees. He said, what kind of inflation is this? Overnight the price has gone 1,000 times. Yesterday my friend got it for 5 rupees. Today you are demanding 5,000 rupees. He says, your friend bought this house without seeing the real one. He bought it on faith. You have seen the house and bought. When you get things on faith, you always get a bargain. Your friend got a bargain. We hear these stories. They tell us the importance of some of these basic things like faith, like love and devotion, like practice. So I am glad that you paid so much good attention to me, and I was able to narrate some stories, some personal experiences, and some tips on meditation that worked for me. I hope they'll work for you. These were all based, none of them is being quoted from books. I am not a very learned man, only a lucky man. I was lucky to find a master. That's it. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow.